Hey, what's up, Internet? It's Paisley Computer here, and I'm bringing you a very ambient conversation and show and tell with my buddy Double D. He is a professor in New York State, teaching some digital media classes, and has been a long time inspiration for me in my musical journey. And in this conversation, we share some Reaper projects that we're working on. D shows off some sample orchestrations and automations that he set up with an elaborate system in Reaper. I then demonstrate some AI and neural network tools that you can use to create MIDI sequences. And then we get into a little bit of Unity and finally some Touch Designer. So check the description below for shortcuts to anything that strikes your fancy. And if you like this kind of thing, like and subscribe and enjoy the conversation.
I need to start practicing ping pong because I just got a ping pong table at school and I can
Oh.
like beat the students.
Hell
So
yeah.
practice pretty hard.
Yeah, how's the classes and stuff going? Like what college you at and like what are you teaching?
It's called SUNY Potsdam State University in New York.
Mhm.
Um, Teaching a class in digital audio, I
Mhm.
guess. Kind of a bunch of everything. Really broad student base, like experience. Some like can do sound design. One or two of them can do sound design. Others have never used a DAW. Uh, some of them are kind of afraid to do the work, I think, and
Yeah,
like
it's
jump in. But it's like, I mean, I
I
can't really. I can make a video where I move around the faders, but like you're not gonna know how to do it unless you like open the project and do it. All right, there it is.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I got it. Oh, wow.
And so the
Holy
audio going
shit.
here.
You got some channels.
Yeah, yeah, and a lot of things just running into other things.
Oh. Yeah, I can hear that.
So that's one track, and then I've got this thing. So I've got all this stuff. Let's see. Let me just make all this small. Start. Where's that? And so I've got these. I've got all these field recordings. But at the same time, I've got this thing going.
Oh yeah, I can hear all that.
So I've got this hippie stuff. There's three different things made out of the same set of arpeggiations. Like up here, this one's at 1x speed. These are 1x speed. Then this is the same thing, but at 0.75. And this one's the same thing, but at zero point 0.5.
And these are arpeggiations of the samples that you made.
Yeah, with like a what is this one? Or Fender Road sound. So I can like add these, take this down, pull this down, put that back in. So I've got all these different groups. And so I can control all those. But then that comes in and out. Where is it? And I've got all these other sounds down here. Oh, and here's my generators. Is that loud?
Yeah. Yeah, it's like a
So that
drone.
can stay real low. And then I can like pull these other things in and out. Oh, creepy breathing. All right.
Now, are these all samples that you've like manipulated?
Basically, yeah. Yeah. Like this thing is actually made out of this microphone. This microphone. You stick it in the ground, and it like records at a really low frequency. And then I set that up and layer it on top of itself a bunch of times. So where is that? GeoHums. It's in here somewhere. Field recordings. GeoHums. Yeah, it's these things. And so I have them at different speeds, 34x. And then I wanted to make all of this into stereo, just like get rid of all these files, get rid of this folder. And I ended up making this instead. And these are like, it's like sped up 34, 36, 38, 40x, and then layered on top of itself.
Yeah, that's way cool.
Is that on?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is creepy. And
Yeah.
I don't know, like, because I did kind of have a thing that I was doing that I liked, and then I said, oh, I should get all this together and finalize all this part and improve these things. And now I'm like, well, I kind of like this, and it doesn't fit in with the thing I was doing anymore. So, yeah, I don't know. Oh, but I forgot about this.
So is this whole thing like one composition, or would you
Yeah, I think this
play
is
it
like
and then
this is
perform it like
thing.
with
This
the
is like an
mixer kind of a
intro.
thing?
This is an intro, and then this is like one composition that's pretty long,
Hmm.
and then there's a few other things that could change. Like I also made this um like months and months ago. I just found it. I was looking for things to work with and I just found it. Like, oh, that's cool.
Yeah, that is way cool.
And so I get all these projects going at once. Let me pull this down. Um am I soloed somewhere? I am. Pull all this down. Hope my ARPs aren't going. Yeah, then I get something going like that. And I can have all these different things going at one time, repeating over one another. And like, I don't know, CPU doesn't really seem to mind.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive. I was just gonna
Yeah, not
ask,
at
like,
all.
I'm kind of surprised how smooth the
But I've
streaming
really
is.
like pared things down. I mean, Ozone um uses a lot of CPU, at least to bounce out. Um, and then this one's really cool. Snap Heap, all these little modules are like basically free, but this is like a $30 plugin. But here's it. It's just like makes things sound good easily.
Yeah, definitely.
That. And this is me just turning on the phantom power on a DI over and over again, and then I sped up and down the samples. But I do work pretty hard to make everything really small because this is just the same. Let's see, 3.5 minute sample looped several times. Um, and then I've already rendered in all the effects. So this used to have a whole bunch of compression on it, but it doesn't anymore because I already, it's just the stems.
Ah, okay. So then,
And
yeah,
that's
you
what I'm
export
getting
out your
to with
sample
this.
to
I
save
used to
the.
have a bunch of multi-channel tracks in here. I don't know if I still do.
Yeah. So you're not running
Is it-
the sample plus the VST. You're just basically parsing it or exporting it out, and then leaving it in the track as like
right,
the
yeah,
final
yeah.
track.
I've sort of got it pared down, but I mean, some of this stuff is kind of starting to like, look, this is going to here and here, um, and these are two like that's using 6% CPU. I don't really know what that means. Visual pattern.
So that's not like a sample track. That's like a visual diagram of what that's playing.
Yeah, it's called a goniometer, measuring angle. So you can find a phaser. Cool.
So do you like draw the lines or something? Like
Oh,
what?
it's mapping phase in the left channel and the right channel, phase and loudness, phase and
Oh,
amplitude.
okay. Yeah, no, that's cool. That's a really neat way to compose a piece, just with
Yeah.
heavy sampling and tons of tracks. So like I can, and then all the automations in between tie them together.
And I'm hoping to use this motion control system, but I don't know. I don't know. It seems I put it together because have been using this project for that. And then like as people move around, they control some of these tracks and you end up with these parabolic patterns. So it's like I'll pull these out. That's why they're all spaced out like this. So I can assign somebody 1 through 4, another person 5 through 8, somebody else these, and so
Mm-hmm.
each participant can control a different track.
I can't hear the tracks
And
right now.
uh,
Oh, there you go.
and then as they move, they like fluctuate through here. And
Okay, so you got
so,
like different drones going.
but I think it's pretty cool when all of them are just loud.
I
And
see.
these are just like copies of one another at different rates. And I think they're all made out of yeah, they're all made of a out of a synth sample,
Hmm.
like a 1 second synth sample, looped over and over.
Yeah, that's really cool. You could probably do something like with get some Wiimotes or something going, and
So what's that?
like a motion control, like a Wiimote, like from the old Nintendo
Yeah,
Wii.
yeah, yeah, something like that. I mean, I've just been using uh like this OSC app on my phone. Oh, actually, here I pulled up this. The project might take a minute to open. How'd the stream go? Oh,
Uh,
I was delighted. Let's see. I've got this Unity project,
ooh.
but of course, it gives you enough time to go get a snack before it starts.
Well, let me see. Maybe I can show you the thing I put together. Dun, 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 dun. So this is just super basic bunch of tracks with synths, and then basically, obviously this is the one I'm talking to. This is my electric kit, and then down here are like the digital synths. And the neat thing is if I yeah, what I got to do is oh shit, I'm recording my voice. What I got to do is whoop.
That's gonna get real confusing.
Yeah. Actually, let me get rid of all that shit. Okie dokie. So now there's a spot, and basically, this is just a MIDI track for these two synthesizers. I've just got a System 8 and a 106. But the crazy fun is using this thing called Ex Machina or Ex Machina. I'm not sure how you pronounce it. So when I open the MIDI editor, it gives me basically it's like a dice roller,
Uh-huh.
and I can say like so right now I've got it set to be like okay, let's do something with C, F, and G, and then we're gonna do with a bunch of eighth notes, some quarter notes. We just generate it. So obviously you can iterate infinitely on this. It's just gonna give you, this is more like using probability at this point, because you're just giving it like a set of parameters and just saying, okay, like give me something, generate something. So to like write little tunes and stuff, it's pretty cool. You can like really quickly get a melody going. But then the crazy part is using the neural network. So like now this thing has a rhythm or chorus or melody that was generated out of probability, but then you can take it a step further. Let's see if I can remember how to do this correctly. And then new action. No wait. There's this thing called Composer Assistant, and what it's doing is you can download this neural network that's basically just the database of, I think it's trained on classical midis or something like that. So this dude had like access to, I don't know, library of midis. And so you train this thing and then you get these like different commands. So like it's gonna look at this lick that was generated by this plugin, and then we're gonna use like these Python scripts to push this MIDI lick into the neural network. That network will then spit something out that would, I guess, be like in a response to. So there we go. So then it just created it. I don't know. It says your MIDI items aren't supported. I don't really know what these warnings are about, but it does generate stuff. So that's all I care about. Pop music. And then, if I remember right, I think it'll, yeah, I can drag it out and it'll continue to spit stuff into the network. So then you don't even have to write the next phrase. It ain't great,
Yeah.
but it's cool. I don't know. I really dig it. So my idea now is like I need a third machine that can basically do what I just did, and then just have the computer just jam by itself. And so then the neural net created this chorus, but then I can go back down to the Ex Machina and then use like the randomizer, and then and then so it's like you're going back and forth. Like it's
Yeah.
I'm not
Yeah.
coming up with any ideas, but I'm just scrubbing one idea with the other. So yeah, I don't know. It's pretty fun. I'm having a lot of fun with it.
Yeah,
Uh,
it is cool.
I don't really know like a better application for it other than just making like shitty techno music. But there was a pretty neat article where a guy like shows him, he like has like a guitar amp modeler or something, and he's playing some like death metal shit, and a lot of metal stuff is written, obviously in like weird keys. And that was the other thing too that I think you could probably speak to, is that this randomizer is not truly a randomizer, because again it's like what scale do you want? Here's a bunch of white people scales. Like
Yeah.
it like you want to do a blues scale, like ooh, and then your keys are just basically it's like it's not microtonal. So
Right. Yeah.
like it
Well,
rides the line of like it's still playing, pop tunes. It's not
right.
super cool and experimental.
It's like a degree of randomness.
Yeah, yeah.
You can have like a random degree of randomness. Like, well, wouldn't that just be zero or something? Not
Yeah,
like,
that's
oh,
so
this.
that's why I'm like kind of cracking up about this whole like, everyone freaking out about AI 'cause it's like I don't know, if you spend any time with it, it's pretty quick. You can tell it's not as good as people are anticipating it to be.
Yeah, yeah.
Oops, what did I
And then
just
the
do?
people who are like angry and disappointed about it, like, are like pissed that it won't drive their car for them.
Yeah,
Like, it's just sort of a difference in expectations.
yeah, absolutely.
I expect it to be good at doing my taxes and balancing my checkbook. That's that's about it.
Yeah, nailed it.
Maybe
Uh,
making a grocery shopping list, but like it would be within a reasonable like amount of error in there.
well, now I'm wondering though, so this net was trained on classical music. So like, what if you train it on like, I don't know, Bon Jovi? Could you like then conceivably create new Bon Jovi albums that he would have written?
I don't know, and I kind of bet that the variation, like, what if it is? What about gamelan music? Like what about stuff that doesn't fit into the same tuning structure? Like different genres have different tunings, and different orchestras have different tunings. Like, what about choir music where people sing in like whatever's comfortable for the choir?
Yeah,
Barbershop quartet could break it.
yeah, a barbershop AI quartet. That's what we need. But yeah, I don't know. It's getting into weird territory. I just like it because like I'm not very good at playing piano, and I just like the idea of just like, all right, we'll just do do do. Okay, yeah, like, uh,
Yeah, yeah.
I'm not
I'm
like
not
trying to
so
make
sure
a
it's that
product.
different in things that are like already integrated into other, because you could easily get that if you just said pick random notes between that, like pick 7 random notes out of 12. You could easily get that.
Oh, that's exactly what this is doing. I mean, you can like tell it no eighth notes, so then bam, now you only have quarter notes. Or, you can crank it up only 16th notes.
Mhm.
So it is like just probability. And then you can just randomize
Right.
it, tell it, let's see, we'll put all these back.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Here, I got it pulled up. I can just share it, I guess.
Okay.
Although I have no idea what's going to happen with the sound.
It's part of the fun.
'Cause well, I don't remember where it's run into. So let me
Yeah, I don't
see.
I don't know shit about Unity. I've only
Where
done,
is it?
watch one of those like 3-hour YouTube courses or whatever.
Ah,
Oh. Whoa. Yeah, that
can you hear
was
it?
yeah, oh yeah, dude. That was so like these little buildings
This
like
is just to keep me oriented.
oh, okay.
Can you hear anything?
Uh in that last little plane, yeah.
Let's see, because I think these are sine waves. It might just be hard to hear if they're too low.
I can hear the clicking, yeah. Like like the first little world you were in, like that had like a real weird like boing noise going.
Huh, maybe I'm just not on. Let's see. That must be it. There. Then this.
Oh, is that the world? Like we're looking down on it?
Yeah. I'll just turn that off. I don't know what's going on with that. What's that? Harp
Oh,
one, harp two, melody in the middle,
Are
wave
are these
four.
ARPs just like synths or are they samples?
They're like sampled synthesizers,
Okay.
sampled synths. Sine. Um, Trying to remember what I was doing here. I haven't looked at this in a few days. Melody.
Oh yeah. You gotta find your groove in the project
No, why
sometime.
is that there? I don't want you to be there. I don't know what's going on with that. And then so there's this audio. There it is. Turn down the master quick. So I'm gonna find my first person controller. There he is, right there. Hit play. Is it working? Why isn't it?
Oh, there we go. Oh. Oh, okay. So the position data is changing, and is that impacting those other
Yeah, that's my
channels?
controller. Something's not right. Just a second.
Yeah, I can hear a.
That's right. There. Start without that. That's annoying.
Oh, I can see the graph changing there as like you walk away. Yeah, that's cool.
There should be some sounds in here. I'm not sure
Yeah.
what's going on with this project. I don't know why it isn't right.
Well, either way, I kind of get the idea. Like as you're going through the different areas and getting closer to those structures, it's like modulating and changing the audio around.
Yeah, I've got these sounds like in here. That kind of sounds like crap. And then I've got the arpeggiated ones like placed around the space in different locations. And then did the same down here, but just a different pattern. Um, Going to bed. Good
Are
night.
those the same samples of the piece that you showed in Reaper?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay,
So
okay.
you can like walk around in it. And then I've got sine waves
Ah.
over here, just kind of randomly spaced. And then the idea is to have triangle waves down here, but I don't know why I don't have that.
Okay, so as you're kind of orchestrating the piece with all the different sliders in the mixer, you're just
Yeah.
basically controlling those as you're walking around in the 3D space.
And then this, like this is an example. Let's see, where's my player? First person controller. So wherever it goes, like this red line right here, it's saying how far away the controller is, what they call the listener,
Mm.
is from that place. So if I go and grab that, and where is he? Need to change my tool and like move it over here, and then you go back to that same sound.
Oh, it's like slid down the
Mm,
graph.
Yeah, it's in a different place on the graph. I mean, it's not even on the graph on that
Well,
one.
I think I saw when
Oh
you.
yeah, here's one.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
This is how far I am from it, almost at the end. And this is like loudest. This is distance, and this is loudness.
Mm.
So the farther you get away, the quieter it gets.
Yeah,
So basically, just turning up and down the fader, but according to this algorithm.
yeah. That's cool.
And then I kind of want to have it set up so like this way are different tunings of the patterns, and then this way is like different sine waves. But like I don't really know how that's gonna work. And then what I think would be cool is if you could like jump off of the side and land in a different key.
Yeah, that would be pretty sweet. Yeah, that's cool.
I'm an E.
Get me the F out of here.
Yeah. But I don't know. I don't have any clue what I'm doing with that. It would be nice to like rotate objects and change things,
Yeah.
but I always get distracted. I get through the first most basic video and they're like, here's how you make something spin around. And I'm like, oh sweet, everything's gonna spin around now. Like I can spin if because then if you put something in orbit and then something around it and then something around it, it just makes a fractal of itself.
Yeah, yeah,
And so
yeah.
you just copy and paste all these little nests into one another. And eventually you have like a meat grinder if someone's moving.
You get like a kaleidoscope going in no time.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that is what I'm doing with one, but it's chaotic.
Oh man, yeah, that I can definitely attest to that. It's just yeah, finding like that's kind of how I am with this AI thing, where it's just like, oh, well, I can generate this one lick, and then now I can run it through. I just keep. I don't really know much, but I know enough to like interlink enough things, and then I just link a thing to a thing to a thing to a thing to a thing, and then
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's great, sometimes it's not.
And sometimes you can get one of them to control the other one.
That's kind of the next step I need to start working on. Is yeah, like I'm pretty fascinated with the Midi side of things, but it's like now I got to figure out like so much of my philosophy with synths and the fun of it was like the actual like physical turning of the knob. And now that I can like generate the MIDI stuff and I don't really need to focus on like hitting the black and white so much, I can just like have the fun that I wanted to have turning the knobs. you know? And like now that that's kind of how I'm approaching this whole like AI thing is like, okay, so now the computers removed me from having the hit and I can just focus on turning knobs again.
Mhm.
And yeah, just trying to apply enough systems to just get back to the thing that you wanted to do anyway. It's just like
Yeah.
sure I should probably learn music theory and be a good pianist and practice all that, but no, I just want to turn the knobs.
Yeah, it's not exactly fun.
You know, it. I remember you telling me a long time ago. It's like piano's boring because it's the same 8 keys over and over and over, and just like it's like Western theory that's just been just used to the nth degree. It's just like there's like cooler shit out there, and yeah, I think just the piece that you showed is just a good example of that. It's just like I mean, you're composing stuff just out of samples.
Yeah, and I'm finally getting to the point where I think like, oh, because I've never really been able to do like a specific style of music. I've never been able to figure that out. Like
Hmm.
kind of jazz, but just because I was forced to use the formula.
Yeah.
Um, but it, like I figured out how to make like this new age thing that's also noisy and uses like these field recordings. So
Hmm.
it's like all these different things all at once. And one of my friends was like, "Oh, so it's like this new age synth thing." And I was like, "Well, that's the first time anybody's ever said it sounded like something." And so now I have to put in these really scary like horror music sounds. So it's like, no, it isn't this new age thing. Is it
Yeah.
noise music? Well, no, not really. It's really quiet. There's a lot of like really quiet places.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, it's like especially when you're describing like like a performance that would be I'm imagining it wouldn't take place on a stage if you're going to do this like eclipse thing that you were describing. Like I'm imagining
Yeah,
like the I don't know, musicians or players or whatever you want to call them would be like in different areas, and and so it's just like I don't know, you're creating like more of a soundtrack for the ambiance or for like the situation or whatever. It's not like a go to and like see this venue and performance. It's more like you're just playing for the sake of the space and not for like the sake of a
yeah,
of a crowd. It's just like I don't know. You just want to experience. It's just like a different experience, kind of a thing that you're seeking almost.
right. And then when using live performers, then they get to like be part of what that is too. And so I don't have like much control over that aspect.
Yeah.
I can just sort of set out a sort of like things for them to do. Like, here's a map, follow this. When you're upstage, be loud. When you're downstage, be quiet. When you're stage left, play random noises. When you're stage right, play smooth noises. Like, now walk around,
Yeah. I
and
mean,
then they get to figure out what happens.
yeah. You're still orchestrating it, and they still have an option to improvise. You know.
Yeah, yeah, and then whatever happens, they get to adjust to, and I don't have to be in control.
Yeah, that's cool. I think like that's yeah. I mean, that's still the same philosophy that I'm having with like this MIDI stuff too. It's like so much of the fun that I have with turning the knobs and I don't have to press the keys. It's like now I'm kind of inspired by what you're doing. It's like okay, how else can I turn the knob? Like how what or if I turn this knob, what else can this knob control? I haven't really broken out of that
Uh,
much. Where like I haven't really like linked, doing a lot of side chaining and stuff like that. I just pretty much just like write MIDI loops and then get on my electric drum set and just like play my drums along with like some like bass line or something like that. So
yeah,
like it'd be interesting to apply some other like controller like you're describing like a spatial kind of thing. I don't know, maybe put like a Bluetooth receiver on my drumstick so as I'm playing it, it's turning the knob, so it's like
yeah, yeah.
you could, because then it would kind of be in tempo too. I don't know. It's just like I got to start kind of thinking about how else I can
I think
control stuff.
the eyeball sensor thing that like tracks your
Oh,
that's really cool, but you gotta like put a camera really close. And there's like eye tracking software out there that does it, but you gotta like if you buy the thing that's like meant to go on your head,
yeah,
that's kind of
yeah.
expensive. And if you make your own, that's probably more expensive, actually.
I
Because you're
don't
not
know,
just
man.
gonna
Like
be
with
like, oh, this is gonna work.
I don't know, man. With like AR, like that might not be far
Yeah,
off, honestly. Like,
yeah,
so like, would that be? I'm a man. Okay, so like, you wouldn't watch a performer with that tech on. Like that would be more like the room is the performer and you're wearing the tech to like hear and experience the room or whatever, because I'm just thinking like you're in a room and there's a bunch of QR codes or like symbols or something, and your eyeball meets it and then that triggers the computer to do whatever that QR code is, whatever automation that's assigned to. So as you're like moving your head around, it's like changing all the stuff for you, but again, you're the participant and the room is kind of the performer in a weird way. Like I could
yeah,
see start
yeah.
blurring lines like that. Would be cool.
I was just thinking that would be cool if you got like the eye tracker on and and so it knows wherever you look. And so if you look at the thing, there's like stuff floating around on the screen. If you look at the thing, it like cancels out whatever sound you're making. But if you don't look at the thing, it like plays music. And so anytime you get distracted by the object, it like stops making the performance.
That could be interesting.
So
Yeah, it's
you
almost
get
like
like a commercial, and so the performance stops.
that could almost be like sold as like a concentration device or something where it's like
Yeah,
If
yeah, yeah.
you look away
It
from your
basically
homework, the lights turn off or something like that.
right, but it's like the premise of the whatever the horror movie is or the plot where if you don't if you look at the thing it like can't sneak up on you, but if you turn your back it'll sneak up on you.
Oh,
Or is it the other way around? I don't remember.
I'm just thinking of like on Mario when if you look at the ghost, they stop moving, and if you turn away from it, they
Right,
come
yeah.
at you. You could make
Yeah.
that in real life, dude. It'd be like a real fun AR game.
Yeah, it would be. I need to start practicing ping pong because I just got a ping pong table at school and I can
Oh,
how to like beat the students.
hell
So
yeah,
practice pretty hard.
yeah. How's the classes and stuff going? Like, what college you at, and like what are you teaching?
It's called SUNY Potsdam State University in New York.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Teaching a class in digital audio, I
Mm-hmm.
guess. Kind of a bunch of everything. Really, really broad student base, like experience. Some like can do sound design. One or two of them can do sound design. Others have never used a DAW. Uh, some of them are kind of afraid to do the work, I think,
Mm,
and
yeah,
like
it's
jump in. But it's like, I mean, I
I.
can't really. I can make a video where I move around the faders, but like you're not gonna know how to do it unless you like open the project and do it. Like
Yeah. That was
there's so much
something,
explaining that's gonna happen here.
right? And I kind of remember that feeling when my partner saw this room for the first time. She walked in, she's like, "Oh my god, there's so many like knobs and stuff." I'm like, "Yeah, but it's not that complex." She's like, "What are you talking about? There's 1,000 knobs." And it's just kind of like, well, they all they all do the same thing, kind of. Like they, I don't know like how to describe it. It's like, yeah, there's a lot. It when I look at a blank canvas, like I get intimidated because I'm just like, there's nothing on it. Like there's nothing there. And then like when I look at all these knobs and stuff, I'm just kind of like, oh, I know what that does. Like it's not a blank canvas. Like like I know I can do a manipulation and kind of have an idea what the outcome's gonna be. Like if I have to put green on a canvas, like that's so scary because I don't know what it's gonna look like. I don't have the dexterity to understand what the stroke would look like or anything like that. And I wonder a lot, like with the students, like especially like you said, if you make a video and you're just staring at a DAW, it's really scary. I mean, like there's so much shit on the screen. It's just like there's so much stuff in this room. It's just like I could see why it's like people kind of get lost in the, I don't know, like the granularity of it all, just because whereas they're used to a blank canvas where I can do whatever I want. It's like if you're in a DAW, it's like you're kind of narrowed down to like there's only like certain ways to do things. Like it almost like forces you to do things a certain way,
Yeah,
and
yeah, very much. Yeah, the technology is designed by somebody and they do something a certain way, and now that's how you're gonna do it too. Yeah. Which is why I like Reaper. It does it less. Gives you more options.
that is exactly, yeah. You definitely turned me on to Reaper because like once I figured out that thing with repack and you could just go and get repositories and just like download like VSTs are really cool. Like that's how I kind of got into synthesizers and Ableton and stuff. But then like once this whole world of everything is just made by developers and it's not the final product, it's like 80% of the way there, and then you like all this AI stuff I was showing you, it's like it's pretty dodgy and hodgepodgey, and you gotta like put it together with sticky tack. But once it works, it's just like, holy shit, like I learned something, like now I know that much more. And like
Mm-hmm.
it forces you to go deeper and deeper, whereas like I felt like in Ableton it was just like you were saying, like this is how they designed it, they want you to do it this way, and this is how you're going to do it. Whereas with Reaper it's kind of like, I don't know, man. Like, here's some sticky tack. Like, put
For
some shit
you,
together. You do it, you know?
do I have to make your composition for you? Like, do I have to mix it for you too? Like, come on, just
Yeah, you can like really get crazy with it. Like, yeah, it's cool, and especially like what you're showing with all the different ways to like interconnect things. You know, even doing it like in Unity. You know, just like that,
yeah.
taking that whole idea of turning a knob, but like I don't know, doing a whole different action and still turning the knob, just a different way to turn it, I guess.
Or like using my cell phone, turning the knob's just the compass on the cell phone.
Yeah.
The only reason I'm using the compass is because that's the sensor that like reacts the same way. Like if somebody like if you hold it up and down and then you like do this, you can get this certain type of thing. But if you like want a performer to use it, they're not going to be like, here, I'm going to only hold it like this. They're going to like
Ah.
stick it in their pocket and walk around.
Yeah.
And so the
Yeah.
compass, like, it doesn't matter if it's up or down, it's always pointing north.
It's kind of a, yeah, it's like a unified, I don't know, behavior or something. Like everyone's gonna interact with it the same way is kind of what you're.
Yeah, yeah. And like GPS would work outside in like an open area if everybody
Mhm.
had good reception, but we're still talking about like values with a whole bunch of decimal points.
Yeah.
You're going to be moving from like latitude 46.00014, like just all these decimal
Yeah,
points.
yeah, yeah.
Like one over there is like how consistent is the noise in this signal?
Well, I mean, that kind of makes me think again about the Wiimote, like the Nintendo Wii controller, because like
Yeah,
the genius of that thing was like the I don't know, like Wii bowling for instance, like everyone's gonna have the same, I don't know, gesture or whatever to like do the bowling action, and then the game can like
uh-huh,
detect that gesture because like everyone's gonna do it kind of similarly. Like
uh-huh.
I could see like if you were to use that controller for like a music performance, like it'd be a lot more difficult to direct or orchestrate your performer because you know their gestures, like their interpretation of the gesture might not be what your, you know, if you say like raise your
Right.
hand from left to right and you're intending like a disco kind of thing, and then you
Yeah.
know they just do like a sig heil like like
Like,
you
no, not like that. Like,
yeah
oh,
yeah like it kind of would like not translate the music like you intended. So yeah, I could see like having that, like thinking about how like you need like some sort of standard to
uh-huh.
like that. Yeah, using a compass to like orient because everyone's gonna hold a compass and it doesn't matter how they hold it. It's always, yeah, like you said, it's always gonna point north.
Right. Right.
Hmm.
Oh, that's cool.
But now you're gonna inspire me to like do some development and try to make my own app in Unity and like
Right.
I want I like this idea of controlling something with my head or with
Maybe
my
a Blender
eyeballs.
touch designer or something.
Yeah, what were you talking about? Touch Designer? That was like a
Like,
other software you had.
yeah, it's free. I mean, it's a really powerful professional software.
Hmm.
Where is it? And I opened it for like the first or second time, probably the second time.
It's like a photo editor,
It's like video and audio. It's a media editor, I guess.
or okay.
Let's see. And here's what the like first patch looks like. Oops, that's the wrong button. Where's it at? Oh, there it is.
Oh, what the
Yeah,
fuck?
I don't really know what's going on here, but like this
What?
is the world. This is your video that's being put out to what you see, and this is like the I don't know. This is the video, that's being put on the
Yeah. Okay.
sides.
So you got a picture that's being animated by that sine wave, and
Right.
then that animation is then texture
Projected on.
wrapped or projected. Yeah, around a.
Yeah, like texture. It's a texture on this, or maybe it's material, but I think it's a texture at this point
Yeah.
on this thing. And so maybe this is our video output. I don't know. I don't know. But you have like all
What
these other options,
is it? Is
and they're
it like to
named
make a
kind of like
visualizer, or like what is it? Just
you can like create user interfaces with it, but you can also like control a lot of other things with it. Like I think there's some apps where you can just take like this thing and go over to your app and plug it into your patch input.
so it's like Max almost.
Yeah, it's a lot like Max, but I don't
Whoa.
really I think it's more for user interface design than a lot of other things, but
I'm almost thinking too,
there's
like
a
maybe
lot
it's
of
like
cool shit in here,
yeah, but
like
that's
audio devices, oscillators.
what. So I'm almost thinking is it could you make like skins? Like if you had like a 3D model, could you make like a
Yeah,
fire? Like you make like a fire texture, and then you add a sine wave so it animates the fire, and then you
yeah,
put the fire
yeah.
on like
Then you
wow.
have the like data controls. Here's open sound control in and out. Uh, I mean, there's like you can connect to a web server.
Yeah, that's
Uh,
nuts.
oh, I need to learn about this MQTT.
I don't even know what
It's
that
this
is.
like set of like data servers.
Hmm. Yeah, this looks very deep.
Yeah, I know. And it's got a nice, clean user interface.
Yeah.
I don't know exactly what this stuff is, but that's cool too.
Yeah, that it's called Touch Designer.
Uh huh.
Yeah, I'll definitely have to check that out.
And so you can do a lot of different things. I think like there's all these math stuff in here too. So you can like do a lot of cool things with data, I guess. But I don't know. It blows my mind.
I mean,
Might be easier than jitter.
I think it'd be cool, like with your performance piece, like that, with all the
Yeah.
sliders. Obviously you could have some pretty crazy video visualizer going.
Right. Exactly. That's what I was thinking too.
Or could you spit this into Unity and use these textures in your
Yeah.
3D
I
world?
mean, it depends on because that's what a lot of these things are. Like OSC, I could do a lot of different stuff with OSC. Um, but like there's MIDI in and out. You can send MIDI signals, but it's still like, does the data that you can send actually line up to what you want it to do?
Well,
Because you can
yeah.
send a signal at audio rate, but you can't really send an audio signal, two different things. So yeah, I need to be able to access different in and out IO
Yeah.
options, and actually know what I'm doing with them and like what rate they move at and
Yeah, yeah. Get into
all
the,
those other considerations you
the
have to
nitty
think
gritty.
of when you don't use somebody else's app.
Nah, keep it a black box, dude. Just click and
Yeah.
drag shit and put it. Slap stuff on the screen, see what comes out. That's what I do. Yeah, that is fucking cool.
Yeah.
That can, yeah, I mean, good lord.
And I mean, maybe something that would be really handy for it is like plain data, because something that can be hard is getting like motion data off of a spreadsheet, essentially off of a CSV,
Hmm.
because then you have to like play it through the CSV and you have to
Yeah, like
tell it to like read
tracker
each
style.
line in a certain order and blah blah blah. And depending on what like in Max MSP, that used to be really really complicated, and everybody used the same patch from like 2004, and there's all these symbols on there that I don't have any idea what they mean. Well, then Max integrated JavaScript, and now you can just write a JavaScript thing that does it for you. But it's more likely that using something like Touch Designer, you could read through a CSV even easier and then send that data to other places.
Wow. Yeah, that's levels of automation that's so far beyond my head.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, that's cool. Like, I could just
But
imagine like all three Unity plus this plus Reaper like all combined into like
right. Yeah.
just
Yeah, I know. I
some
know.
crazy ass experience. And then you throw in some like 3D projection mapping into your, the venue that you're
Right.
at. And
Yeah. And you can do a lot of that in Max MSP, but it might be easier to do it in Touch Designer.
yeah,
Probably don't have as control. But like a Max patch that does the same thing is a whole lot more complicated looking. Like it isn't actually more complicated, but this is all packaged up real nice.
that is.
In Max, let's see, I'll open a jitter patch, just like one from the tutorials. Here.
Is jitter kind of the same thing? Just kind of a
Yeah, yeah.
media media editor.
I
Whoa,
have no idea what we're looking at,
the
but
fuck? That doesn't look nice at all.
oh, it isn't. And there's you can do some really cool stuff. There's just a lot of things you have to know how to
You gotta know what it
figure out.
is. It's not very visual. Yeah, that's some like raw dog like code.
Let's
Wow.
see. It's a blob. I'm looking for one specifically that's just easy to understand. You make sound, it moves.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But is this like what people are using to create like visualizations for like EDM shows and stuff, or like?
Yeah, yeah, a lot of times. Well, I mean, there's probably easier things to use, but yeah, Max MSP is really the best
Ah,
for
okay.
that. And you can do some other things with Pure Data, but Pure Data really doesn't have the video capabilities that Max has.
Yeah, yeah, that's
Like you can
cool.
rotate objects and stuff, but like Max makes it a lot easier because you can plug in like all sorts of things to other things, and it's just like RGB, sine, saw, square, triangle, like, and then you got to know what I find really hard is instead of like following audio from left to right and like it has a beginning, a middle, and an end of your composition of your music. It's like a video that happens constantly, and like each little thing is in a little grid, and all of those. So instead of like linear samples happening over time, it's like
It's
a
like
visual grid
colors
of samples
changing or
all
something.
happening at once.
Jeez.
And because that's what's happening in video, like each little pixel has a value on the
Yeah,
grid,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
and it's moving at 60 frames per second instead of like 48,000 samples per second.
Yeah, yeah.
So like the fidelity rate really isn't comparable, but like the amount of actual data packed into there to each little frame is comparable.
Oh, weird.
Because
Yes,
like if audio glitches, if you get a change in audio rate, then
you could
it
see
makes a
it.
bunch of pops.
Yeah, you'd be
But
able
if
to
you
see
get
it.
like a change between 45 frames a second and 60 frames a second, you won't really notice
Yeah,
as long
little
as it isn't like
stutter.
messing up all the time.
Right. Huh. Well, yeah, damn, dude. I got some ideas brewing now.
Cool.
Cool, brother. Well, I'm gonna let you go. Again,
Sounds good.
good to catch up with you, man, and we'll do this again
Yeah.
soon.
Cool.
All right. Have a good night, man. We'll see you.
You too. Bye.